good a job as Ken, only because I don't have Ken's strong hands. However, I'm doing it, and I think everybody needs a decapper like this, because if you saw me using my hot knife, you can see it's very clumsy because it doesn't adhere, it doesn't fit to the contours, the undulating contours of the frames. When the bees make their capped honey, they're not thinking about making it straight up and down so that you can uncap it easily. They're just kind of going with the flow. And so you have to use the knife like this, like that. It's a big pain. Whereas this old antique thing is just easy peasy lemon squeezy. You are working with a hot tool, so you want to be careful. This isn't something kids could do. They could watch maybe, but you need a closed up room that doesn't have, you don't want bees to start smelling what you're doing. I had a friend that tried to extract honey in an open area, and that didn't work out. She was inundated by many, many bees, and she lost a lot of her honey. It has to be warm, because otherwise the honey won't flow. We're lucky because Ken had that thing that warmed up the frames for us. So we're not sweating. I was expecting to be sweating and miserable in here like I was in my garage 2 years ago. That was the only way I could get my honey to flow. But no, this is very comfortable. And I also really, really like this receptacle for to place the cappings, because I was just using a bucket and I was bending over. So it's all about having the right tools at your fingertips and working quickly. We'll show you more later. Just hit stop over there. So that was Ken's bee vac. The bee vac sucks.
So this is set up just like the rest of them. There's a tube right there that goes to the outside.
So it just sucks them up and they can go outside.
Yeah, they go
so you're
back
not killing
outside.
them, you're just shooing them away.
Right.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Brilliant.
All
And
right.
this is where the he puts his hives that aren't doing well in the wintertime, that have the holes. So we've got all the frames in there. And we're going to hook this puppy up. How much does one of these machines cost, Ken?
This is about $1,500.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Ready?
Yep, we're ready. I'm so dizzy. You're making me dizzy. My head is spinning like a whirlwind. It's even the same key. Like a whirlwind, it never ends. And how long do you have to do this?
About 20 minutes to get it all out.
It's gonna come out there. Okay, so we'll let you know. Okay, so here's all that delicious, raw, unfiltered, virtually organic honey. I have to call it virtually organic because I just can't afford to get certification. But it is. I mean, I've got an organic property. And look at that stuff. And we had 18 frames, 2 or 3 of which were the big frames, which are called Deeps. And estimate, Ken, about how many jars do you think I'll get?
It'll be probably 2 gallons of honey.
2 gallons of honey. It's a hell of a lot of Christmas and birthday gifts. Can't give it to my diabetic friends. It bumps me out. That kind of, this is called, this sieve has like a name to it. What is it?
Strainer.
Strainer, yeah. So that takes the residual wax out.
So we got actually 4 different strainers. We have 2 here. You can see the size of the grid on that one. The one below it.
Oh, wow.
Actually smaller.
And that takes still more of the wax and debris out. The And so Ken has tilted the backside of the block of wood so that all that stuff from the bottom is running out into the sieve now and drain. And we could probably spin for another hour and get more honey, but I just don't need that much honey. So I'm not going to be stingy about it. So this is the final, well, sort of the final step. We're going to pour into jars. So this is all that we retrieved. And Ken is going to pour all that beautiful honey in there. We're going to keep moving it around so that it sifts. That's a lot of honey. Okay, so here's the final result of all of Ken's work. Not much on my part, but I provided moral support. So that is just part of our honey supply. Very happy. Thank you, Ken.
You're welcome.
Like that.
Yeah.
So this one will be really hard to get the honey out of this one.
Is that because of how I used the...
No, I think since this is really new honey or new wax, it doesn't take a beating very well. So when you pull the comb off, it kind of smears it like that. So the honey just doesn't want to come out. Whereas if we look at maybe the same thing here.
Kind of mushed.
Yeah, but then you've got the comb that's kind of clean. So it just takes a lot of spinning to get all this out.
And again, the frames that we've spun, they're good to save, put them someplace where wax moths won't
This
get
one's
to
really
them.
obvious. See how those kind of get pulled.
Yeah, yeah.
And the hot knife melts that as well, so it kind of damages the comb as it pulls it.
Right.
And I don't know if there's any way to not have that happen.
Yeah. And again, we can use these frames for another hive that's starting out, and it gives them a little food to start with and some built-out comb. So you can always use that stuff again. Okay, so Ken has gone and taken my frames out to his beehive so the girls can have a little buffet. I'm going to leave my frames here, come get them later, so that his girls can kind of snack on the residual, because I don't need to do that. I only have 2 hives and he's got a bunch. So right now I'm scraping out the excess, and there's quite a bit from the bottom of the extractor. I mean, there's so much honey, and I only have 2 hives. Granted, a lot of those frames were from last year, and I just put them in the freezer because I didn't have any way to extract them. I certainly wasn't going to extract them with a hand operating machine, because that takes forever and I don't have that kind of strength. So God bless Ken for his machine, but even so, even with an electrical extractor, it's a lot of work, as you can see. So the reason why we put the frames in the freezer after we pull them at the end of the season is to kill any larvae that wax moths have left. And there's always a little bit. I know it sounds gross, but that kills them. And I just kept the frames in the freezer over the winter to keep, critters and bees and stuff from being attracted to it. So if you're keeping bees, it is a process. It is an investment of time and energy. A little bit of money, not bad, but, find a friend who has an extractor like this, because it's worth its weight in gold. Bay line for the bees. And the bees won't bother the dogs, right?
No.
I guess the bees are so into my, hi baby, are so into my, what I thought empty frames, that they could care less about Ken. They're not going to sting him or even say, how do you do? That is a bee party. Look at that. Yum, yum.